This is the Rugby Muscle Podcast, talking all that you need to become the best rugby player you can be. Now here are the Rugby Muscle coaches, TJ and Alex.
I know this one.
I knew you'd like this. Yes, you, the listener, not Alex. You're listening, yeah? Adjust your headphones real quick. Listen to the podcast. Guess from that tune... Oh, actually, that doesn't even make sense because it's going to be the podcast header, isn't it?
I don't know how you do that. So maybe this makes podcast head something different.
I was going to say, no, because then the people will go into it and they'll be disappointed because it's not what they wanted to do. But yeah, I was going to say, guess what this is? Then I realised that actually you're listening to the podcast title and you've seen it already. So we are going to discuss training splits. So the idea there was that Craig David was going through his training split there. I thought it was quite a good little intro, didn't you, Alex?
I enjoy that song.
Welcome to the pod, mate. What's new?
Thank you. Deload this week, quite nice. Pulled 235 for 6 the other day. That was pretty cool.
Do you enjoy deloads?
I enjoy them at the start of the week, and by the end of the week I'm pretty bored.
Yeah, but I think that's like a really good thing, like place to be at, because you're then really like it stops you from getting burned out and bored with training. Do you know what I mean? Because by the end of the week you're like really gunning for it and the intensity. You know you're going to come back to your new cycle and like be amped up and ready to train hard.
Part of the reason that I get coached is I don't have to think about my training because I spend all day thinking about other people's trainings.
Yeah.
So I'm never really like thinking about it, if that makes sense. I just turn up and do what's on the program.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? Because by the end of a cycle before a deload, you're like, oh, and you.
Oh yeah, I'm just fucked. So I'm like, yeah. But that last week I was in pieces.
Anyway, let's not talk about you. Let's talk about...
It's time for the facts of the week. Wow, that's an interesting fact.
Well, that was quick, out the way. Like it.
Done it. No clowns allowed.
This is kind of about clowns. So it's just been Halloween, right?
Right.
Okay. So, and you know, people wear masks on Halloween.
Yeah, they do.
So the reason behind that was started in the Middle Ages, where people used to wear masks so the ghosts that came out on Halloween wouldn't recognise them.
Is that right?
Well, I saw it on the internet.
Oh, it must be.
It's got to be true.
So, it was... Hold on, let me just adjust this microphone. Sorry, everyone. So, they would wear masks so that their ghosts... What? Because the ghosts were there to haunt them, so they're like, oh, and the ghosts would...
Well, Halloween's All Hallows Eve, yeah?
Right.
Which is, like, the most, I don't know, haunted day of the year or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where all the ghosts and goblins and creepy people come out. So presumably if, like, your dead mother-in-law, for example, is going to come and haunt you, you don't want them to recognise you, do you? So you wear a mask.
But, like, if they're ghosts and they can, like, surely they can see through a mask.
I don't think this is a scientific process, mate. I think...
Anyway.
Yeah. Wow, that's an interesting fact.
Did you have a Halloween party this weekend, mate?
No, not in any way.
Obviously, but have you noticed how the Americans take it a lot more serious than us Brits?
Yeah, it's bonkers. It's some of it because where I am in Houston, like about half a mile away, like a couple of blocks, is like a really affluent area.
Right.
And some of the stuff that goes on there is crazy, like huge, like dioramas across like the whole of their like estate and stuff. Yeah, it's nuts.
Fair enough. Oh well, no, I actually carved a pumpkin to eat.
Oh, did you? What do you make? What's the picture?
A scary face.
Original. I like it.
I thought it was brilliant. And then I watched a scary movie. But as we all know, you listen to this podcast as well, should know that scary movies aren't actually scary. They're all shit, except for Saw movies. that is intense. I like an intense scary film, not one about ghosts and stuff.
I can't be doing scary films.
Do they scare you too much?
Yep. I
Really?
get freaked out. Yep.
No, I'm different. I don't get scared, so I just like in every single film I ever watch, I pick every single plot hole in it. Scary films tend to have a lot more plot holes than normal films. Anyway,
yeah, not for me. Okay,
I'm going to set a timer for 15 minutes. We're going to talk about training splits for rugby players. Now, I'm going to start this podcast off. Well, we're halfway through it already, but I'm going to talk about why we advocate doing a high-low split. But we're going to get to that in a little bit. But first off, we'll start with most people go into the gym when they first start training, and what sort of split do they follow, Alex?
Chest.
They just do chest.
Chest and biceps.
But yeah, they follow a traditional bodybuilding workout, and they'll split up the body parts, right?
Yeah, you might do like a push-pull or something.
Yeah, but for the most part, in most magazines and most people at the gym, like people always ask me like, "Oh, what body part are we training?" I'm like, "Oh, anyway, we'll get into that in a sec." But yeah, people will train chest on a Monday, back on a Tuesday, legs on a Wednesday, maybe take Thursday off, then arms, and then what have we got left? Shoulders.
Legs again.
No, that's not. I'm talking about most people.
I don't know. I just assumed that's what people did.
You assumed wrong. Anyway,
I don't know.
Why do people do this split?
It's easy. It's what magazines told them to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's what they see their favourite Mr. Olympia doing. Phil Heath, living the dream.
What's the magazine's theory behind doing that?
It's what the pro bodybuilders are doing. Easy to sell, I guess.
And then what's the pro bodybuilders' theory behind that?
They've been training for however many years, and they're on whatever kind of supplements they're on, and they can do it because they've progressed to a point where that's relevant. Yeah.
So, to me, this all comes back to how specific you need to be, like, for yourself. So most pro bodybuilders have got to the stage where they're trained for 10 plus years, or if they haven't, they're still at a ridiculously high level of volume. Mm-hmm. So in order to grow even more from their decent size to a ridiculous size, they have to train so much volume for each muscle that it takes around a week for that muscle to then recover to train it again. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Most people need a fraction of a percentage of like how much these pro bodybuilders need in order to grow. So we would advocate doing full body because you can hit that each body part more often. That gives you more opportunity for growth, correct?
Yeah, for sure.
Because let's use chest as an example. So say Monday was your chest day and you did 3 sets of bench press, 3 sets of incline dumbbell press, and 3 sets of, give me another one.
Chest flies, cool. So that's 9 sets total that we're going to do on chest throughout that whole week pretty much, right?
Mm-hmm. Of that, the incline press and the flies are going to be done somewhat fatigued, so therefore we're not going to be able to push those as hard. We should all be able to agree on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, if we were to do a full body workout and just do one exercise for the chest 3 times a week, for example, we could do still 3 sets, still 9 sets throughout the week, but can we push that weight a little bit more?
Should be able to if you're a bit fresher, yeah.
Yeah. So is that going to give us more opportunity for growth?
Yeah, there's a strong link between the intensity of the movement and growth.
Yeah. Plus, we're like most of your muscle growth will come from the first few sets, anyways. I would say, because that's pushed That's the main bulk of the work. Your hardest bit of the work is going to be your first few sets. So if you can get just a few sets on 3 separate days, that's 3 separate opportunities for growth. That's 3 separate opportunities to get bigger. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me.
Are we all in agreement?
Mostly, yes.
Okay. Another thing with this traditional body part split, is it easy to train full body movements such as power cleans, dumbbell snatches, and like explosive burpees? I don't know, name some more. Farmers carries, deadlifts. Are these movements easy to do if you're separating each body part?
How do you mean?
Well,
you're thinking, where do you put it in? Like, if you're training arms, where do you put in your power cleans?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, not particularly.
So that's another reason we advocate doing a full body split, is that you can train explosive full body movements like more often as well. I see a lot of people doing deadlifts on back day.
Mm-hmm.
I see most people do deadlifts on back day. Do you understand that?
I get where they're coming from. I get even if they don't know they're doing it, they're trying to hit the posterior chain, which involves like lower back and stuff. But I think if I was going to have to choose where to put deadlifts, I'd probably put it on leg day.
Yeah. To me, it's a good thing because it gets them, without thinking about it, probably training legs twice a week. But deadlifts are way more of a lower body movement than they are back.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're doing them right, you should get, there's like a 92% muscle involvement in the body, deadlift, something like that. So it's really everything, but mostly the legs doing the work. Everything else is kind of holding you together.
Yeah, cool. Right. So, what's a negative to training full body splits?
It's quite easy to burn yourself out, I think, if you're doing it wrong. So, say we're going to train 5 times a week, just for argument's sake. If 3 times a week you're in the squat, and you're going to back squat 3 times a week, then you're going to burn out pretty quick.
Yeah, cool.
Because they're quite high intensity movements. Whereas, if you say back squatted, front squatted, and goblet squat or paw squat or split squat or something, you're changing the intensity during the week.
Program. Yeah. Yeah, because if you've come from a background where you've trained exclusively like one body part per day, you probably smash that day. Like you smash each body part that day. So you would go into a full body mentality thinking you have to smash every single exercise you do, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as Alex said, you can't do that because if you squat 3 times a week, you will burn yourself out. Or if you deadlift 3 times a week, or if you do... Yeah, you know what I mean? You are going to really fatigue yourself. And if you're in an overly fatigued state, unless it's planned, then you're going to not get any results.
Or you get injured or something worse.
Yeah. Another point people will make when they talk about full body splits versus like body parts is if you're doing full body, in order to hit the full body, like if you're only doing 3 sessions a week, like those sessions need to be like a couple hours long sometimes, because because people think about each body part and will plan 1 or 2 exercises for each body part, and that ends up taking a lot of time.
That's just a quick point in this. The whole deal about you shouldn't train longer than 45 minutes to an hour because of the Bulgarian research about testosterone levels. I think most people can probably dismiss that.
Yeah.
1, you're probably going to get more out of training a little bit longer, and 2, you're probably not training quite as hard as the Bulgarian Olympic weightlifting team.
Yeah, cool. I'd also add to that, it's mostly about speed as well. Like if you're doing speed stuff, you shouldn't spend too long because your speed will drop off after around 45 minutes. But who's doing speed for longer than 45 minutes anyway?
Yeah, good point. That's something I was saying that, but I've completely forgotten.
That's all right. So we're almost getting to our destination here. So we've critiqued different body part splits. We're saying that it's actually difficult to do 3 workouts a week and effectively and still train the full body, right? Because there's just a few difficulties there. So what's another way that we can do it?
I wasn't expecting that question. So you could do 3 full body days, but have priorities on certain days.
Yeah.
So you still might have a leg day, but it doesn't mean that you're only going to train legs on leg days. So, for example, on my squat day, I also overhead press.
Mm-hmm.
And vice versa, like on a deadlift day, I'll bench and stuff.
Yeah. And then therefore you've got other emphasis on each workout, so it's not just it's almost like a split in terms of what the emphasis is. So you're prioritizing leg development on one day and upper development on another, or whatever body part or whatever movement, but you're making priorities, and then your other body parts are accessories, right?
Yeah, it's essentially block training, but on a more micro level.
Yeah. Okay. But what about if we were to do 3? We're still going to go to the gym 5 times in a week, but we're going to keep 3 full body heavy days, and then we can do 2 lighter days. What about that?
So my off days, essentially. When I say off day, like low days or low intensity days.
So this high-low method of training was popularized by Charlie Francis, who is like a legendary sprint coach. He's almost shaped a lot of what we can do in strength and conditioning because of his genius. So we pay attention
in terms of invasion games, mostly.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and
not
sprint.
in terms of strength sports and stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the theory behind this is obviously that we're saying what you do is very, like what you're doing on these 3 high intensity days is going to be really intense. So you'll need at least 1 day to recover between those. Also, in addition to this, as a rugby player, speed and power work is necessary, right? But again, speed and power you can't do on consecutive days. That's something we should have brought up a little bit earlier to backtrack to the body part splits. If you're doing big speed and big power movements, you can't do those on consecutive days. Doesn't matter what body part.
Either same day or 72 hours apart.
Yes. So therefore, the best way to do it is if we can have a high stress day for the CNS. So we're doing big speed stuff, big power stuff, big lifts. I also categorize like a hard rugby training or even a rugby game, obviously.
I'd actually, and I spoke to Chas Wesley Smith about this, as it happens.
Oh, yeah.
About where he would put training sessions in terms of rugby, and he said he'd always put your high intensity training sessions on the same day as rugby training.
Yeah, I completely advocate for that because like nothing fatigues you more than getting beaten up in a rugby training day. Now, obviously, it's difficult if you're not a coach or you're not the coach or you're not in charge of what each training session involves because you can't predict it. You might have planned for a real stressful, tough day, and then coach just says, "Oh, we're having a video session today," right? But I think you're best prepared to try and get in the gym on the same day that you rugby train, because this is all highly stressful stuff for the CNS.
Even if you only have a video session, like that's a bonus, right? Like, I mean, you have even less stress to worry about. You can recover better.
Yeah, sweet.
So essentially, what you're preparing for is a worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. Anything less than a full contact session is a bonus.
Yeah, cool. So your gym days or your high days are going to be really stressful to the central nervous system, but then on low days we can do lots of like general prep. We can do core work, and when I say general prep, like any weights, like basically below 75%, would you say?
Yeah, like 70 or lower. Yeah,
70 or lower, like high rep stuff, hypertrophy stuff, if you're looking to grow, you can target a few areas and do those on 2 or 3 low days as well. And therefore, you've got the best of both worlds with a high-low split. Especially in terms of power development.
Yeah, for sure. If that force development, power development isn't a priority, it's less of a big deal. But for us as rugby players, it's pretty important. Yeah. What I would ask you, mate, is so say as a rugby player you have 2 or 3 training sessions a week and game day. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We can assume that training sessions are probably Monday, Tuesday, Thursday.
Yep.
Game day Saturday.
Yep.
Would you advocate doing the high intensity stuff on the Monday, Tuesday, and that's fucking loud, and Thursday? And would you keep that even if you were only training Tuesday, Thursday? Would you still have a high day on the Monday as well?
So I personally would be more of an advocate of doing the high stuff. It actually depends on the person. But if I was in charge of, like, if I'm working with a team, I would have their high days on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and Sunday and Monday would be low days. So Monday, you can get in some real quality work on a Monday, but Mondays you're still somewhat recovering from a game, and therefore you just can't do speed work or power work as effective. So I think Monday is more of a prep day for Tuesday. Tuesday's a real high day.
Almost like a potentiation session on the Monday?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. Do you want to quickly tell people what the potentiation session is?
Do you want to do it?
Yeah, whenever we talk about potentiation, it just means preparing for the next day or the next cycle or the next block. So say you might do central nervous system activation work on a Monday in preparation for power cleans on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Or you might do
core work, lighter work, technique work, going through similar stuff. So the idea is a complete 180 from fatiguing yourself for the next day. You actually want to be fresher that next day.
When I was in New Zealand, I spoke to a former All Black, and he was saying how they did heavy power cleans, like just for a couple of reps a day before a game.
Yeah. I see people do footwork drills and drills on the day of a game. There is some good reason behind that, but we'll talk about that in another podcast. But yeah, Tuesday and Thursday Thursday would be obviously quite a low volume, high day, but it gives you enough time to recover for the Saturday. If I'm dealing with an individual, I don't mind too much trying to do a Monday. Like that, Monday will be the high day, because you never know what you're going to get with the Tuesday, and then depending on how hard the Tuesday is, we either smash Wednesday as another high day if Tuesday was fairly easy, their rugby session. If their rugby session was tough, we'll take Wednesday as a lighter day, and we'll push power on a Thursday, because Thursday, I don't mind it on a Wednesday, because Thursday normally is just like a team run if you're only training on a Tuesday and a Thursday.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Or like just running against dummy opposition or something, but either day.
It's all easy stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Now, one last little point I want to add here is, like, you can take almost the exact exercises that you're doing right now as a body part split or a full body split, and you can almost easily just filter them in to this high-low split, and it makes your life that much easier. Low day doesn't mean like easy as in everything's easy. It just means easier on the central nervous system, right? So you can do really difficult, challenging core work and like some high rep hypertrophy stuff on the arms or whatever, or some tough aerobic work for an hour. But the idea is that that's nowhere near as taxing on the central nervous system. Tempo work is also another good low day stuff.
So I'm a big fan of tempo work for low days.
Yeah, because you're getting the benefit of technique and the benefit of the conditioning, and if anything, tempo work can act as like an activation, like what Alex was saying.
Yeah, and I think bodyweight movements as recovery for tempo work is underrated. Like, how many rugby players do you know who can knock out 50 press-ups in a row?
Enough, but yeah, I know what you're getting at.
You know, it's not a ton. It's not like every player can do that, right?
Yeah.
Whereas you really should be able to do 50 press-ups.
Yeah, but then you think about how many rugby players even bother ever just doing 10 push-ups, apart from if they fuck up a drill or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. All right, we'll talk about tempo training in a complete different podcast, but for now, we have way run over our time. So, Alex, do you want to plug away, mate?
Oh, I'm not prepared for this today. Okay, so
Just tell me your name on
emails,
Instagram, you idiot.
I'm on Instagram at Collision and Combat.
There you
on
go.
Facebook, Collision and Combat, and collisioncombat.com.
Ooh, nice. And then follow me, tj.strength. I've basically given up with Snapchat because I broke my phone. So, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and YouTube. Where
Yeah,
you
check
can
out
find
your
these
YouTube's pretty good.
podcasts.
I checked.
Yeah, sweet. Thanks, mate.
Sorry?
And that's it, really. Go ahead and subscribe to us, and if you can give us a 5-star review, I do want to read some out on the podcast in the near future. So go
I
ahead.
think Julian gave us quite a nice one the other day, didn't he?
Who?
Julian.
Oh, well, we'll read that in the next pod.
Cool.
10. All right. Ta-ra, fellas.
I know this one.
I knew you'd like this if you knew what it was.
I know.